G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to War Thunder. So I've been spending a lot of time playing ships again lately, just grinded out my 2 battleships, and in the process I was looking into some of the controls and I discovered what might be a new set of controls, or might not be. I just got to point out that the controls I've never seen before. And just to clarify what I'm talking about, if you go down to Controls Naval, you'll see distance correction here. And you'll also see direction correction. So these are both very interesting controls, and they actually improve my previous video, or improve on my previous video about controlling your guns. Now, just a quick rehash for anyone that hasn't seen the previous video. I use a system at the moment, or I previously used a system where when I selected a target, I would see a target in the distance here, distance measured 4,800 meters, shooting distance with correction 4,800 meters. British guns tend to shoot a little bit high, so traditionally I used to shoot about 200 meters short of the target, but these days I'm finding a little bit better accuracy with 1,500 meters. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll with my mouse button down to 4,650 thereabouts. That'll do. And I'm going to shoot at the target. Now what you'll see here is, like I said, these rounds tend to go over the head of the ship. These should now go pretty much exactly where I point. And there you go. Now the problem is when you go from this ship to this ship over here and you select this ship, your guns would reset, and so you'd have to manually adjust that 150 meters again, and every time that you wanted to fire you had to keep scrolling your mouse to keep adjusting for the range as you were closing in or getting further away. With this new system, that's not the case. So what I'll do is I'll use this new distance control function, and I'll set my gun just like I would with the mouse. I'll set it to 150 meters or thereabouts. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so now I'll shoot at this target here, and I'll show you that it should be on target. There you go. Now traditionally, if I switch this target, that shooting distance with correction would re-zero back to the distance measured, but as you can see here, distance correction is 4,770, but the ship is 4,875 meters away. So what it's done is it's kept the distance, the difference that I put in at. It does also seem to make some calculations based on distance as well, from the target, which I assume it's compensating for the ballistics of the round. So you won't see that exact 150 or 140 meters or whatever you set, but it should maintain relatively close to being accurate and may require just minor adjustments. So you'll see here, I'll fire this ship, you should all hit. And there you go. And then I'll switch over to this ship and fire away. As you can see here, that ship is 9,000 meters away and it's ranged to 8,820 meters. And they're on target. So that is distance correction set. What you do have to do if you are sailing in combat, you're moving, the enemy's moving, the distance measure is constantly going to change on your screen, but your shooting distance doesn't automatically adjust. So before firing your guns each time, make sure that you keep reacquiring the ship. which for me is middle mouse button. Just make sure you reacquire the ship so it updates the shooting distance with correction before you fire. And that way your shooting correction will be automatic. Readjusted as I switched straight from one target to the other there. Yep. So then this leads me to the second situation. As you can see here, I currently have to aim behind the enemy ship to hit it because I'm in a forward direction, which means my rounds will travel with momentum in a forward direction. So wouldn't it be nice if there was the ability to have it adjust? And there is. So that's where the direction control comes from. So if I put my crosshair directly on the target, you can see the white ring on the inside there. That's where the gun barrels are pointing. Now if I use my direction control, I can move it to the rear of the ship where I would normally have to move my crosshair like this. But now I can keep dead center, can keep it zeroed, and I can adjust where the barrels point and then reacquire the enemy vessel, updating this, fire, and it should maintain that. The beauty of this is if you've got multiple ships at roughly the same range and you're maintaining your speed and the enemy's doing roughly the same sort of speed, you can switch from one to the other and still be fairly consistent with your lead, and it's a lot easier to make finer adjustments here and here rather than having to have the ship on the edge of your screen all the way over here at long range and you can barely see the ship you're trying to shoot at because of the lead. And then you can reset that back to 0. There is a control in there that you can bind that resets your settings back to 0. And that is that. So to recap, when you select an enemy ship, you get a distance measured and then a shooting distance with correction. That's where your actual guns are aimed. You can now use these new controls to put in a permanent setting that will adjust your shooting distance with correction to the range. If you find you're constantly having to shoot 200 meters short, 300 meters short because the ship is sailing towards you or your ship sailing towards them, and they're doing it at, say, you've got a 5-second reload and the enemy's closing in at 200 meters every 5 seconds, you can adjust your guns to 200 meters and then you can keep on the target and fire. Just making those minor adjustments every once in a while rather than having to do it every single time that you fire. You can also now set a horizontal to adjust your lead, which is also very nice. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes life a little easier for you. How is the grind going so far? Have any of you got the new battleships or are you working towards them? What are your opinions of the patch? I'm quite enjoying it. If you have any more questions, if I haven't explained something well enough, please do leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. I'm figuring this out as I go. I've been playing for a while now, but I'm constantly learning new things. So I hope this video helped and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe.